My lockdown pregnancy was perfectly timed, I would say. I really wanted it in my life, and in fact, I needed it in my life, and everything fell into place just perfectly.
As this world battles this pandemic, battles this virus, you, baby girl, have been our glimmer of hope. And we are so blessed to have you.
So I truly believe that God sent all the children that were born during this time were God's bravest and God's most strong babies because they were sent in this world during the toughest phase this world has ever seen.
Ours was a planned pregnancy, so I got to know I was pregnant as soon as I missed my period. So I knew I had to take the home pregnancy test the very next morning, and I couldn't sleep well through the night, and I woke up super early because of excitement and anxiety. And as soon as the test came positive, I woke my husband up and I told him that I was pregnant. And this was how I told him. So I had prepared this way in advance, just to have it there with me whenever I do find out that I'm pregnant. So this is how I broke the news. I could be in my own private space and away from the public eye, away from the family's eyes, I would say. And I could do my own thing. I could be active when I wanted to, I could rest when I wanted to. So it was just amazing because I could do things my way, and it worked really well. And the worst thing about being pregnant during the lockdown was that I actually could not be in the public eye as much, especially when the time comes when you're showing, when you start showing. And I really wanted to go out, show my bump. During Diwali, I couldn't go out at all because of the scare, and of course it affected my work a lot. So these were the bad parts about being pregnant during a pandemic. And even regarding the ultrasounds, which is the most beautiful experience during pregnancy, he was not there for a single appointment because of COVID protocols, and he could not see the development of our baby. And this was something which was very heartbreaking because this is a once in a lifetime thing that happens, and he missed it, and it was really upsetting for both of us. So it of course it played with our minds a lot. And it's just something that we were both really looking forward to, and things of course couldn't happen the way we really wanted them to.
Found out that I was pregnant when I was already 6 weeks into the pregnancy. And it was, for the past week, I was experiencing nausea and heartburn. And honestly, I thought I was having some sort of gastrointestinal issues. So I teleconsulted with a doctor because we were in the middle of the lockdown and I didn't want to, visit a hospital at that point. I didn't think it was major enough to visit a hospital. So I called up the doctor and the doctor immediately said, "Have you taken a pregnancy test?" And I'm like, pregnancy test? No, just give me the medicines for the nausea and heartburn. I think the best part of being pregnant during the lockdown was the fact that I could work from home, especially in the first trimester, because I was constantly feeling nauseated. I had extreme fatigue, and I can't imagine myself, going on campus feeling that way, because I was always grumpy. I wouldn't want my students or my colleagues to see that version of me. So it was something that I really enjoyed, because it was a difficult phase, but it was so much more easier because I could just rest when I wanted to. I could have those extra hours of sleep because I didn't have to travel back and forth from college. So those were things that were very helpful. When I think about what I really missed out on, or what wasn't so good about being pregnant during the lockdown, it would just be the fact that I couldn't be with family, I couldn't, spend time with friends as much. Especially again in the first trimester when I really wanted my mom's cooking. I had no energy to cook. I had no, I could hardly eat. There were so many things that were putting me off. Really missed mom's food. Another difficult part was definitely when we were in the hospital, again when we were all alone during the birth process, not having any help around us. I think that also was a little more difficult, to kind of just to manage a newborn all by ourselves. While it was exciting, it was also a little bit difficult.
Because my husband's nature of job comes in the essential services category, he was still working even during the lockdown time. So yeah, that was kind of a worrisome thing because he would come back home after his, every day out in the world. And then also, even though he was still working, but there was no help available at home. There was no family to help me out. There was no house help. There were no maids. There were no cooks. There was nobody to help out. So, and especially when you need that in that first few months of pregnancy, when you just want to do nothing and just be a whale and lie down, I couldn't do that. I had to do everything on my own, so that was a bummer. I think another sad thing about delivering during a pandemic is the fact that once my baby was born, nobody could really come and see him except for me. In fact, not even the father. I mean, my husband got to see his own son for like 30, not even, maybe like 10 seconds before the nurse took him back inside, because of course they were worried about exposing him outside. The entire pregnancy overall went pretty smoothly in terms of being away from the virus and not having caught it. But that happy spell didn't last very long for us, because my baby was just about 20 days old when I realized that he had a slight fever and there was a slight heaviness in his breathing. I spoke to the doctors on call and they told me, "Mom, there's nothing to worry about," because we were almost, this was around end of October, so end of October, early November, they thought it was probably because the weather changed, because we were in Delhi and the weather was shifting from summers to winters now. So they sort of said it was seasonal flu maybe, which he had, and it was nothing to worry. Next morning I told my parents that I have to take him to the hospital because something did not feel right. So we went to a hospital first, and the doctor there again told me that there's nothing to worry about, it's only seasonal flu, and he sent me back. But I don't know, you may call it maternal instinct or you may call it I don't know what, I just did not feel right. So we hurried him to the military hospital again, and they were kind enough to do a rapid test, and I think in 30 seconds of him being tested, of them taking the test, he tested positive. And the entire world came crashing down for that 1 second of my life. I remember everything just blacked out because he was just 20 days old and this virus was the deadliest thing doing rounds, and how could it happen to us? You know, your name, Arihant, it literally means conqueror of evil, someone who's conquered and is victorious over evil. And that's exactly what you did, because you were just about 22 days old when you actually caught the virus, the biggest evil in the world right now, and you conquered it.
I want to tell my daughter that I always used to say that I don't want to have a baby, because why bring another human being into this world? It's not worth it at all. And then I ended up having you for my selfish reasons. But the world is not as bad as it seems. This too shall pass. Things will be beautiful again. Everything, comes and goes, and things happen for a reason. But I want to tell you that you are my reason for happiness.
I think for me, the best part of being a mother is the fact that I get a front row seat of my daughter's life. Like, I get to see her grow, I get to see her evolve, and knowing that every day I'm going to discover something new about her is definitely very exciting.